for anybody out there. We are going live in about 4 minutes. So I'm just getting everything set up and I'll see you shortly. Hello everyone, I am back. So we're going to actually start in about, hello everyone. We're going to actually start in a few minutes, but in the meantime, I'm just going to tell you a little bit about myself. My name is Stephanie Chevalier, and I've been teaching Kitty Keys now, oh gosh, for quite a few years. I used it, essentially, I started using it as a supplementary program for my Suzuki program that I have, my Suzuki piano program that I have. So I saw Chris's, her program, and it was absolutely, it was based on content. It wasn't just a lot of singing and playing games, and her materials actually show it. And what has been fabulous for me is that I've been able to take mostly all of her materials and use them online. But what I was doing is I was using it as a bridge between my little twinklers who are coming into Suzuki classes and doing Suzuki piano, and hi Chris, who are doing Suzuki piano, and I really needed something as a stopgap, something to really get them started with their reading very early. And these children come to me for piano lessons as early as 3. So I really needed a program that would fit in with everything that I was doing, and I started using it right away. So that just gives you a little bit of an idea as how I started using Kitty Keys. A little bit about myself, because I'm going to wait a few more minutes before we start, see if we have a few more people that join us. I was a piano performance major first, and then I did my degree in voice. So I'm an opera singer. I spent quite a few years singing opera, but also teaching the entire time, teaching piano and teaching young children. I really, really believe in starting them very, very young, 3, 2, in the womb if you can. Okay, well, it's 1 o'clock, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. I just want to start today by giving you a little tour of the studio. What I have you on right now is a selfie stick, and this is a great tool because this selfie stick is actually on a tripod, and everything I show you I will put in the comments when this is all over, where you could get it like off Amazon or whatever. So I use this, and this is great for if you're doing a go live, and you can just, and this is great for teaching games too. You don't need what I'm going to show you in a minute. I just happen to have it because I'm a singer. But you can tilt this down and tilt it over and tilt it, and so this tripod, it was like $15 or something, very inexpensive. But you can use it to do things on the floor. You can sit down on the floor with it. I'll show you in a minute. What I use, let me flip this around. Here we go. What I use, as you see right here, is This is a microphone stand. And what this microphone stand does is it's very, you need, if you're going to use something above the piano, because I know, once your students start getting going, you're going to have, you've got this overhead view, you see. And so I'll show you what I use to toggle it and all of that. And I've got a video up about it, but I can even make another video and show you. It's quite simple. But it's great. You need to be sure, again, that it's going vertical, not horizontal, or you'll get a weird picture. So you just get a little holder to put on top of the mic stand, and this is nice and heavy. I actually have another one coming in a day or two that is down a little bit, that goes down a little bit further. Okay. And then, so then I have this, which is great. It's on wheels. It's like a little, let me move back here. It's like a little movable computer stand, and it's great because it goes higher or lower, and you can stand or sit, because a lot of times I like to stand. So I'm going to take you around here and show you some of this stuff. So here we go. So the way I have my studio set up, it's nothing like how I have it set up in person. Normally everything is put away perfectly, but now everything is out on the floor because I need it right there while I'm teaching. So when you're teaching little ones, you really don't have time to look for things. Everything needs to be right at your fingertips. This is what Kitty Keys that I use. We do chords. Right now I'm going to do a whole chord section. I'll talk about that in a minute. And this is how I have everything set up over here. I have all of the stuff that I'm using and my whiteboard and a lot of Kitty Keys stuff, but some stuff that I use that is not Kitty Keys. So let me flip this around. Okay. All right. So I just wanted to show you a few of the things that I use that are not Kitty Keys oriented, and then I'm going to jump right into my Kitty Keys stuff. So if you'll notice here, I have this, this is just my regular stand, and what I do with my preschoolers, and again, they're all sitting there with their parents. Up until the time that they're 6, I expect that their parents are going to be there with them. And these are great. These are called blue Jello cards, and you can make your own, or you can buy them offline. But I use blue Jello cards, and you can do whatever you want to use with them. So I would suggest either getting some cards or make some cards, and do rhythms. You can use ta ti ti. I use the blue Jello rhythms because I think they're fun and the kids love them. So for instance, I would have them set up like this, and I would go huckleberry, 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 huckleberry. So I can drop this in on the comment section, but that's kind of what I use for our little rhythm studies. I have several sets of them, and they start like with quarter notes like blue, 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 blue. And again, that's something that you can do as part of your class, because I know there's a lot of times when you can't do everything exactly the way that you would want to. Okay, so I'm going to bring you down here to where I have a lot of my Kitty Keys stuff. So, and a cat to say hello. Hello, Pove. So, what I would normally do is I would have I would be doing this on my computer for one. So what I like to do is, and this is a great class because I like to teach combination classes. I have a lot of siblings where the older sibling is more advanced and an advanced student, and the younger sibling may be a 3-year-old and just be starting out. So for instance, you guys are all familiar with these cards. So what I like to do is this would be a part of a combination class. The blue Jello cards, the rhythms, they would speak them if they were a certain age. And when they get at a certain age and level, and then at another age and level, they can clap them. So that's the next step. So we can do 2 steps at the same time. You can have 2 levels of children going on at the same time. And I also encourage family participation. So if there's older kids, there's no reason that they can't join in too. The more we can make this, the family's going to be in the house. So the more you can make this a family event, the more likely you're going to get some more participation. But I would hold this card up, and you see, clearly you can see this is a line, and with my computer it's even larger. So for the little ones, they go like this. They show me it's a line note. And so if I hold up this one, like so, the little ones will say, space face. And the older ones, for instance, I'll tell them ahead of time, today is bass clef day. So one child will give me their answer in the chat box of Zoom, and the other child will, so a lot of these materials that I'm using here with Kitty Keys and some that you can just make yourself are multi-level, and that's great because it'll make your group class teaching a lot easier. Okay, so the next thing I wanted to show you. This is really cool. Now, if I didn't realize that this went down so far. So if you notice, this, I don't have my big iPad down here. I usually use my big iPad. But if you'll notice here, you can still see, because my iPad usually hovers, but you can see the cards from here. And, but if it's hovering over, you can see them even better. So using an iPad to hover is usually ideal. So you can use all of these. It's way fun. One way that I use these cards is I'll point to one of these and they will go to their piano and find that note on the piano. So what I've done is I repurpose these cards in a different way, but I use them exactly like it's very similar to how I would in class. And I just love using those bingo cards. They love it. And I have to say, this level 3, what's really fun about this is I like to use this in getting ready for a recital. I say that because we're getting ready for a recital right now. So I may throw a dice down here and it lands on this, or I'll throw a little animal and it'll land on this, and okay, your recital piece, you have to play your left hand now, or okay, let's do our twinkles quietly. If it lands here, you have to do it quietly like a kitty cat. So there's lots of different ways that you can use these cards, and right now people are probably prepping for their little recitals and such, and that's just a really good way to do that. Okay, let me go over here and plug my phone in before I lose my charge. So I wanted to show you what I was talking about with the toggle, and then I'll come back to this is, and I'm going to put this in the comments, very inexpensive, under $20. Everyone needs one of these. This is how you hook your phone or your iPhone, either your iPhone or your iPad or your iPad mini or whatever your second device is, but that's how you toggle it. And very inexpensive. You just get one of these, and I will leave a video on regarding Zoom to see, to show you exactly how I went about doing that. Now, I want to show you these cards that I also use. So, I like to use these Kitty Keys cards for a whole lot of different things. We're getting ready for a recital right now, so I do use it for the recital. But when you've got a lot of children in front of you, I don't know if you're going to be doing your classes via Zoom or if you're going to record them ahead of time. My classes this summer, I'm going to be recording ahead of time. I'm going to do 4 classes that I record ahead of time, and then the final class will be together. And I'm going to do units. So there's going to be each 1-week unit. So I'm structuring my summer classes a little bit differently, just because people are going to be super, super busy trying to figure out, and we don't even know when school's starting or what that's going to be like, so what that's going to look like. So anyway, so I use these cards. There's so many of them, and they can be used for so many different things. But one fun thing you can do is take all of these cards out, and you put one of each different kind, and you drop a little animal or a little M&M or a little penny or something on them, and then you flip it over, and they have to find what that key is. So you can make up all sorts of different games to do with these, and it depends on what level your student is. But the key is to be able to toggle this so that you can do this. Otherwise, you'll kind of be dead in the water. You really need to be able to do that. Okay, I wanted to show you something else with Road Trip, because I have been using Road Trip. I have actually switched all of my I'm in the process of switching all of my students over to Road Trip for their beginning reading book for several reasons. For one, it works really well online. The problem with some of the other books online, and I'm just going to share this with you quickly, is that there's not enough for them to see on the page. The problem for me in having them use an online book is that you've got it's a lot of online. Then they're trying to look at me, they're trying to look at a book. They really like to have a book in their hands, and so do I, quite frankly. But I wanted to just show you one that we were working on, for instance. We have a place right here where I live called Be More Licks. And it is a very cool ice cream parlor, and it's right across from the park. And so this is a big fan favorite in my studio, ice cream party. So what's really cool about this is that when you toggle and you share screen, you can put this on the side so you can go over this with them at the same time. You're looking at it at the same time, and you're looking what they're doing at the same time. And what is really cool about this is they get to draw and do all sorts of cool things. The other thing I like about this is that they're on the staff right away. I'm not a fan of the just reading by finger number. When they're ready for a book, they're ready to be right on music. So I love this. And I'm using this almost exclusively now. And I think you'll find it very useful. Everything in this book is just, it goes right along with it and has them moving in intervals. Which brings me to the next thing, letters, steps and skips, and intervals. Now, during class, I always use the big cards, right? So what I did was I found some small ones. You can make your own, but you can do the same things that you do with your big cards with a smaller set. And if you can make a smaller set, they'll fit right across there. You can also do it just by doing it on the floor. But these will fit, a smaller set will fit into your camera range a little bit easier. Another thing that I wanted to share that I was using with my students is an app called Marco Polo. And I was using that before with my voice students, but I've been using it a lot with my Kitty Keys students, my babies, because I can take what we did in class and I can very quickly video my phone over my hand and send it to them, and they know exactly what we did. And it's fun. And they like to see their teacher. And so that's really kind of cool. Can you reverse the image that we're seeing? I can. Let's see. Well, yep, I can. When I go back to down there, I will absolutely do it. I think that was a lot of this stuff. Let me just look over here and see if I forgot any of my materials that I was going to do this on my computer, but I didn't want to have to carry my computer around. Oh, I did want to share with you this. I know I showed it to you. So Chris says for me to turn this around. So let me turn that around. Okay. So this should work better. So what I like to do with my little ones is, I like to go ahead and take my fingers, and I like for them to do little exercises like this. Walk your fingers up. And they like to see what I'm doing. And then they'll do that on the carpet. And we'll do it on the carpet too. And then I'll show my fingers on the keyboard. But again, it's usually a bigger one than this. And the other thing that I like to do is I will take my little and I'll say, can you play those 5 keys? So I'll come up with little exercises like this. And then sometimes I'll say, oh, can you skip a key? So whatever your teaching point is for that day, this is great. And I really do like that I have 2. Yeah, because I do like to have this below it or above it so that I can show on the staff, what we're doing as well. So these have become a lifeline, and they're just quite lovely. And I hold these up when I'm teaching. And again, all of these cards that I use from Kitty Keys, we use them, we recite them, bass clef, F clef. And we talk about them, we recite them. We do the same thing with treble clef, G clef. We have themes as to what we're doing. I think that, what else do I have? And I have this whiteboard. That's what else I have. This whiteboard is great. You can put it on your music stand just like you do your rhythm cards or your letters, anything like that you don't want to do on the floor, that you just want to, to stand. Put that on the stand and you can write your letters, anything that you want, and it is fabulous. I absolutely love it. I think that's about everything. Like I said, the main thing that I think that you really, really need is this. And if you have that, everything that you use in your classroom can be used outside of your classroom in the online situation. Now, one other thing, and I know that you mute your students. Hold on, let me turn this around. Okay. So I know that, so I'm just going to finish up here. I know that when you, and then I can answer some questions. I know that I try to unmute my students a lot when I'm teaching group classes. I mute them, but then I will unmute them often so that they can hear each other's answers and they can sort of laugh with each other and say hello, and then I mute them again. But one way, even when their students are playing or whatever, one way to get their attention, yes, I bought some party blowers because my voice was getting super, super tired. And yeah, the toggle. Yes, I will explain more about the toggle. I'm going to set this up so that I can show you. And then I will actually do a video so that you can see. Let me just put this down here. I will make a video step by step. So what you do, let me unplug my computer, is you take your computer and then this little toggle, that's what I call it. This is my little toggle. And this will go, the end of your computer, the end of your phone cord goes here. And then you just plug this into your computer and that's it. This will go either into your notebook. And then when you go to Zoom, because Zoom is really the easiest way, at least for me, to be able to do all of this. I know, isn't the party blower great? But Zoom is really the easiest way for me to do this. And I'm really a dinosaur. It took me a long time to figure this out. And I use it with my iPad, but you could use it with whatever you have. You can use it with your phone. If you have a phone and a computer, you can toggle. And it's fabulous. You can keep it like that your whole lesson, or I like it because if you'll notice, my computer is facing me. Typically where my computer was is where my second iPad is. I like for the students to face me like this. I was finding that it was harder to keep their attention when my computer was here because it was at the side, So I think that having the students facing me, and then when I toggle, they're above and they're still facing me, I feel like I'm keeping that some kind of contact with them. Yes, this is all there is to the toggle. Then what you do is, and what I'll do is I'll make a video when we're done here. I'll make a video of me toggling. I'll take you step by step through it. It's actually really easy. All you do is you click the share screen button on the bottom, and it'll have all these things. You can toggle without the cord, but it'll be dicey at best. If you have this, it'll drop and it'll be glitchy and this is the best way to do it. This little thing, you can order it online. It'll probably get to you in a couple days. Yes, and you'll go to share screen. And then when you go to share screen, it'll ask you which you want to do. Do you want to toggle? Do you want to do a whiteboard? There is a whiteboard there too. But again, I found that I like to use my regular whiteboard because I like to hold things up so that they can either hold it up or stand next to it and point. The whiteboard, then I get reduced and I sort of become like a little telephone woman again. So I like to have myself as big as I can. For children, it sort of makes them feel like you're there with them a little bit more. And try to look at the screen when you're talking to them. And even when you blow, be like this because they won't know what's going on. What else? Yes, so I will do a toggle and a little toggle video and drop it in here, but it's so easy. Share screen, and you'll click to toggle, and once you click, you just wait a minute, and all of a sudden your camera appears. So you just turn your camera on to your phone. So like say I was toggling my phone or my iPad, you turn your camera function on first, and then you'll be ready. Or you can turn it on after, it doesn't matter. And then, literally it's that easy. So did anyone else have any questions? Oh, you want to see a broad view of the studio? Oh gosh, it's such a mess today. Okay, let's show. Okay, so I'll tell you about that too, Chris. Let me show you my little view. This is my second piano. This is my digital, and I have a mirror right here because I'm a voice teacher also. And then, well, this is right next to where I teach, and I have all my stuff there, and that's my little work area. It's just so awful because we bought this house because I just love Victorian. I just wanted to have my studio in a beautiful Victorian parlor, and now I've turned into a a very modern tech studio. And then here we are, and then there's my grand, and then there's where I toggle. And I'm going to tell you about what I'm doing with my classes this summer, actually. Summer camps, yeah, good. Okay, I'm going to let you guys know exactly what I'm doing. Oh, thank you, Rosalie. I am doing something strange this summer. I'm doing lessons with my regular students, and I will put that toggle model. This is a CEFC-ROHS. I'll put the exact make and model and a click to it so you can just click on, and I'll put that in the comment section. So what I'm doing this summer is I'm teaching my regular private students, but my regular private students, I expanded Kitty Keys to go as far as pretty high level theory. I use it with other manipulatives, but I do use it that way. So what I'm doing this summer is I'm seeing a need that children need they're going to need activities. And I'm going to do this summer, and I'm going to continue something similar in the fall. What I'm doing is I'm doing regular private lessons, and then I'm doing something called musical mornings. And what I'm doing is I'm doing a segment every morning. I'm probably going to pre-record them. I'm not sure how I'm going to do that yet. Oh, I'm going to tell you about that real quick too. And I'm going to do that for 4 mornings. And then on the 5th morning, we will get together live via Zoom. And so whatever songs we learned those mornings and whatever, so everything will get reviewed, and it'll be kind of a little combination. It's going to be very short. That is what I did to add value. I do group lessons via Zoom to add value to my lessons, and also because I've always done group lessons as part of my private program. They start in group and they continue on to private, but the group always continues. We always continue as a group. So my students are kind of used to that, although my studio is very, very young because I just moved here. So there's that. Now, what I'm doing also is I'm doing a musical mornings with students that are not currently my students. So they will pay a fee for that. And I'm going to do units. I'm basically using lesson plans that Chris has, and I'm expanding them. And I'm doing, like, 1 week is going to be composer week. 1 week is going to be chord week. We're going to listen. talk about, learn about, sing about chords. So each week is going to have some sort of a theme. What I'm going to do is I'm going to record those. I'm going to record those. Now you have to be careful how you do this, because you don't want first of all, you don't want people's names on there. So anyone who comes to the Zoom class has to remove their name, or I have to figure out how to remove it. But what I'm doing is to record is, if I do a Zoom class, I set up, and you probably should get used to doing this if you're ever going to record anything, is you need to set up another recording device behind it or slightly off to the right. So more than likely I'll have 3 devices recording at once. One for Instagram, one for Facebook, and one for my own, so that I can download it to YouTube. So if you don't, you could possibly lose your content if you just do Facebook Live. So like, I don't know that I can take this Facebook Live and then save it to my personal library. But I know that if I do it on another, and then the other thing is that you don't really want any other faces or names on your recordings. So if you're teaching a class, which is great, because when you're teaching the classes and there's other students there and you can see them or you can interact because they're talking to you, doing a live is great. But if you don't also have another outward recording mechanism, it could get lost on Facebook, or it could get gobbled up. I mean, if they ever change their they start charging, or who knows. But for me, it's better to just do that, to try to get an outside recording. You can save those. You can save those and use them later. So instead of the beauty of going online, with all of this going online teaching, is that I think it's really going to change the way that we educate. In some way, it has to, just because we're going to have to do this for so long. And B, it gives you options. You want to join that 9 o'clock class, but I'm not available at 9 o'clock. I'm not available till 9:30. Well, they can catch the replay. So you can set up a place on Facebook, or however you want to do it. But I know you definitely can on Facebook, where students can come in and it's private, and they're the only ones that can go there, the ones that have already paid for that class. So I'm structuring my classes that way, and I'm probably going to run units all summer in the morning, and I'm probably going to pre-record all of them so that I'll only be gathering on Friday morning, if that sounds like it makes sense to people. And I guess that's about everything. Let's see, summer camps. Yeah, that's kind of my summer camp thing. My private lessons, right now, my littles, the ones that are just coming out of Kitty Keys and going into their Suzuki program, those students are getting 2 15-minute lessons a week. And so 2 15-minute lessons a week as opposed to 1 30-minute lesson. In person, I can do 1 30-minute lesson a week. Online, it's challenging. And you might want to consider doing something like that for a Kitty Keys class. There's no reason, and I would be doing the same thing if I'm starting a group of littles. There's no reason that you can't break that up throughout the week and run a Kitty Keys class for 4 consecutive mornings, rather than once a week, and sort of hook them into coming, or do 6 classes or something like that. To sort of get them to come to another and to another, rather than just because they really need something to do right now. I don't think there's going to be a lot going on as far as camps and sports and things like that, and I don't think we're going to recognize the fall. So that is about that. So if anyone has any other questions, nope, I think that's all. Well, if you think of any more, my group classes move around my studio. Yes, they do. My studio is usually empty. The kids don't sit in chairs. I have one chair over there that a parent will sit in, but I have another room. I'll walk you over here. Let me show you what actually happens around here. Okay, so typically my students, this is killing me because I just got a door in the back to where my students have their own code. And so they would come in through the entrance and wash their hands in the bathroom over there. And then they would come in and sit right over here in this area and wait for their lesson. And then this area here was all clear. So moms would come in with their children and wait in the other room, and then this area here is all clear. Let me switch this around. And this area here would be all clear, and this is clear for movement, and sometimes we would even use the other room for movement. Are there any sample online safeguard that I could use? I don't quite know, don't understand that question, but maybe if you, I think you're talking about for your students. I think the best thing is to do a private YouTube. Just make everything private. And even though my studio page is public, for the summer classes, I'm going to somehow or another do either a private section within. You can do a private section within your studio page, or I'm going to do a whole new studio page, Patterson Park summer classes or something like that. Yeah, so I would do that, and definitely make your YouTube private so that people have to have, you have to be granted permission to get there. Because you don't want to give your content away. But I would recommend recording your classes outwardly or from behind. Especially, this is an opportunity to do that while you're online because there's no other children in the room, so you don't have to worry about getting permissions from anyone. And then you have your content for yourself. Hello, Maggie. There's my dog just made an entrance. So let's see. Did we have any other questions? Okay, I am going to finish and save. And if anyone has any other questions, leave them in the comment box, and in the comment section, and I'll be happy to answer them. But really, if you can flip your thing around, you can do all of these games on the floor. Oh, you're welcome. You can do all of these games on the floor, and I'm telling you, my students are so much. I'm amazed at how well focused they are. Don't be afraid to teach them online. I was at first. I was a hot mess. But now it's going really well. And so your parents are going to be so happy that you're doing this with them. And really do try to do a live Zoom class at least once because they enjoy seeing each other's faces. Okay, so I am going to close it and save it.